afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. And as per usual, well, not per usual, we're moving this particular series down to Saturdays, down the rabbit hole. But before we get started, brief disclaimer for all the different source materials that we have been using throughout the duration of these series. You will find all the links to those sources right there in the description box for you. So should you like to deep dive the subject on your own or fact check, you'll definitely be able to do so. Trigger warning, this channel is marked not for kids for a reason. I do use profanity, and some of the topics we cover on this channel can be particularly triggering. So if you have a child that is 16 and younger and they are watching this, parental supervision, of course, very much advised, alright? Alright, now, also, another trigger warning. If you are anti-vax, I still expect a certain level of decorum from you if you are going to enter into my comments. I also want to put out there, do not put debunked science in my comment section. I will look it up. I research everything constantly all the time. I will find out. I will remove the comment and block you from the channel. Say anything nasty, comment will be removed. You will be blocked from the channel. This is going to be your only warning. Alright? So watch the video at your own risk. Alright? Okay, so we are back taking a look at the fact that when Professor Walker-Smith's appeal was accepted, it did not exonerate Wakefield. And as a matter of fact, he won his appeal on a technicality. It did not validate the results of the study. In fact, to this day, the results of that study have not been ratified anywhere by anyone. And don't let anyone tell you, but it hasn't been tested against placebos, without being willing to go and dig it up for yourself. Haven't we all learned we can't just take the word of freaking career politicians and career lawyers anymore at face value? I mean, just saying. But anyways, where we left off, we're going to be talking parents of the children, the big lie. Okay, so this says here, according to the big lie repeated over and over again by many supporters of Wakefield to explain the results of the GMC hearing, the parents were not allowed to testify. For the love of God. Because the parents weren't the ones on trial, and this is not a criminal court. It is a penalty committee. It's literally a medical misconduct. Now, let me tell you a little thing about medical misconduct. It doesn't matter whether the parents of the kids think that it was medical misconduct or not. Their opinions are invalid. Objectively, Dr. Wakefield did things throughout the entire study that were beyond questionable. And objectively, beyond a shadow of a doubt, violated multiple ethics. Not to mention the two glaring giant elephants in the room called his conflicts of interest. Okay? Why would their opinion matter in that? These parents go to medical school. Are they familiar in regards to the ethics committee regulations that someone like Wakefield would be under, and the type of disclosures that he would need to do to the ethics committee while conducting such a study to keep things above board and keep the trust of the public? That mad scientist tried testing on human life, that's not a trope, folks. Those asylums a MAGA is so gung-ho to bring back, that's where they got the idea of the mad scientist, people. But sure, yeah, let's bring that back. Pinnacle of humanity and Christian, right? Sure you are. Anyways, we won't get too far into that. Keep my mouth shut, I'll be good, I promise. I'll try, anyways. But still, why would that matter? These parents have not been trained in regards to the very specific set of regulations that the GMC is responsible to making sure are followed, and to get rid of those individuals who do not follow them. Okay? As usual with medical rules, there are reasons, and it's usually to protect the study participant and keep everybody in the loop, especially when study participants are minors. How he conducted that whole study is absolutely reckless. It is half-assed. It's not even half-assed. I don't even know what that is, but it's just like barely a step above a JRC study. Okay? Let me continue. This big lie has been repeated so often and so effectively that the parents believe it. This is why I say fact check everyone. Yes, even the people you trust. Yes, even the people you trust the most. Fact checked. Always. All the time. And if you want to ask me why, please do me a favor. Go out to your door, open it, and take a long look. Just saying. For example, in a testimonial for Professor Walker Smith, the mother of child 6 and 7 stated, "I am saddened that I was not allowed to give evidence on the behalf of my boys and was upset to hear the lies about my family from the other side. I felt we did not have a voice and my boys were not protected in this. This has nothing to do with your boys, and if anybody should have been looking out for them, it's Wakefield. Why would you, as a parent, as this information comes out, samples taken at birthday parties, Dr. Wakefield not disclosing anything that could be even remotely construed to be conflicted interest, you are supposed to put up there before the ethics committee. Point blank, period. Otherwise, the hospital that's a part of conducting the study can be held liable. Think Monsterland lawsuit, excuse me. What does this have to do? But it's not fair. I didn't get to show my evidence as to why I believe this. That is not what is up for discussion here. What is up for discussion is, did Dr. Andrew Wakefield, while he was conducting his clinical study, engage in severe medical misconduct and malpractice, in my personal opinion, but I could be wrong there. I'm not a lawyer. But how can you know what you know? To see what has come out and how that man conducted the study, including the extremely painful additional lumbar punctures that didn't even have to happen, and you're still defending them. If anyone wants to know, my MAGA doesn't surprise me. It's because I've been dealing with anti-vaxxers with the same level of stupid for over 20 years. wouldn't you know it, a lot of them crossed over. But anyways, I just wonder how any parent would be like, but I would like to get up and defend him. First off, what's up for debate is not Wakefield's so-called results. It's how he got those said results, and whether there were multiple ethical violations or very reckless actions that he took during the conduct of that study. Anything else beyond that is immaterial. Now, they do mention the impact that would have on the general public health, which they should. I'm sorry. You even have evidence of those diseases coming back, and still they go on, and they want to promote more vaccines while people in front of their eyes are getting more sick. It's insane. Parents, we can't be this gullible. We cannot be this gullible. You see somebody, they act like they have all the answers. It seems like all your questions have finally been answered. Fact check it. Fact check it. Every time. This is your kid. Before you put them through the pseudoscience hell circle, fact check. It's literally all I ask. Alright, let me go down here. And my boys were not protected in this. No, they weren't. They were not protected by you. They were not protected by Wakefield. You are correct. I said what I said. Come at me. Day 199-28. It says, and from an open letter by the parents read as a testimonial. Oh, for God's sake. It's the JRC Kool-Aid drinker drivel all over again. We have been following the GMC hearings with distress, as we, the parents, have had no opportunity to refute the allegations. For the most part, we have been excluded from giving evidence to support these doctors, whom we all hold in very high regard. Okay, here's a few questions that I have. Parents, do you know what those allegations are? If you know what they are, would you mind going ahead and writing them down for us? Because we've read the GMC transcript too. Nowhere in there is GMC trying to say one way or the other on the results of that study. Okay? The results of the study are not at play as to why this hearing happened. Because if that were true, the hearing would have happened in 1997, right after the article hit the newsstands. Notice how that didn't happen? Yeah? That is because that for all of that time, between 97 all the way to 2010, people believed this stupid crap. And then when the hearings happened, I'm going to suppose we read the transcripts, but what's not true? Okay, what's not true? What is it that's not true? Did Dr. Andrew Wakefield not get samples at a child's birthday party? Did Dr. Andrew Wakefield disclose that at that same time that he was trying to marginalize and demonize the MMR, that he was putting an alternative MMR shot on the market? Did Dr. Andrew Wakefield actually disclose to the ethics committee that the people that were becoming a part of that study is the law firm that he was affiliated with. That these weren't just objective kids, but they were coming in from a law firm known to take cases that they're very anti-vax. And we're just going to ignore that. Exactly what is it do you think he's not guilty of? Because I read that transcript too, and it is extremely damning. Maybe one of the most damning transcripts I have ever read. And considering I've been someone on the front lines helping to try and bring it into the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center, I would know. Okay? He is not innocent. Yes, he did commit those violations. Whether you agree with those violations and his decisions for making them doesn't matter. It doesn't count. It has nothing to do with the ultimate results of the study. It's all about how it was conducted in the first place. Did they actually read the transcript? If so, please quote for me the exact part in the transcript that has gotten you all so anxious and angry. Show us on the doll, right? I don't understand. Because if that were my mom and I was put in a study like that and she found all that out, that man would have been sued directly back into the Stone Age. The hospital would have been sued. Everybody would have been sued. I mean, special level. Like, if that happened here in the U.S. and I was a part of the study, someone like Wakefield would have ended up having a very, very, very bad day. How, as a parent, can you know this, read this, and not understand who this man really is? I say as I watch this insanity unfold in politics right now. Just because I can see it and see it happening doesn't mean I can wrap my brain around it. Alright, day 19933, but as the GMC's lawyer stated in her opening submissions, the parents in this case, with exception of the mother of the child 12, to whom I am going to be referring later as Miss 12, are not going to be giving evidence, and it is not the part of our case that they were anything other than content with the investigations which were carried out on their children. Indeed, as you will be hearing, some of them positively encouraged those investigations to be carried out. But in the last analysis, it must never be forgotten that the patient is the child. Thank you. Somebody said it. Was it you? No? Sit down. But they're a minor. Was it you? But I make the decisions. I will tap the sign. Reminds me of my mom. Don't make me come back there. In her defense, that was back when we would go down to Silver Dollar City when we were little. And it seemed to take forever. And we drove her slowly mad by saying from the back seat, "Are we there yet?" For like a solid hour straight. Anyways, parents wanted to testify, but none were called by the doctors for obvious reasons. All parents were asked to testify by the GMC. Just as with the children's GPs, the parents could have given very important testimony. Miss 12, who still supports Wakefield, provided testimonies and documents that by itself prove most of the GMC case. Boom. You see, this is what we mean. There is a Kool-Aid drinker sickness in this world. And they could literally tell you everything correctly that is going on and still cling to their grifter. This whole world is like a bunch of people looking to try and find a cult to take advantage of them. That's what it seems like to me. Just to be quite clear, it was the defense lawyer who opted not to call the parents as witnesses. So it was their side who decided not to call the parents, because it would have been irrelevant. In the end, one parent, the mother of child 12, and primary care doctors for 11 of the children were called as witnesses. Mother of 12. Child 12. After you had that conversation with the other lady at the parent and toddler group, what did you do? Did you contact Dr. Wakefield? Answer, yes, I did. Question, did you do that yourself directly rather than going through your GP? Yes. See, that's not the normal procedure, folks. Even for studies, if you might be a good candidate, a doctor may ask your parent, if you're a minor child, if that would be something that you would be interested in which case the general practitioner, or as we call them here, pediatricians, or they would go ahead and then refer you to the study. Approaching separately raises a lot of eyebrows. It means you sought out that particular study with preconceived notions of what the answers were going to be. And when you do that, you're only going to find evidence for what you already believe is true, while ignoring all evidence to the contrary. Let me continue here. Question, do you remember how you got hold of his contact details? How you knew where to go? Answer, I believe that the parent gave me the contact details. God, this is shady. It's so cult-like. It really is. I want you to go into the GP records to page 126, so backwards again from where you were. This is a letter dated the 19th of July, 1996, to you from Dr. Wakefield. Do you recall receiving that at around that time? Answer, yes. Question. If we look at it, it says, Dear Miss 12, thank you for your letter regarding your son. We have recently taken a profound interest in this subject, particularly in view of the link between bowel problems and Asperger's syndrome. I would greatly appreciate if you would mind calling me at a royal free before the 3rd of August, and in addition, I would like you to seek a referral from your GP to Professor John Walker Smith, Professor of Pediatric Gastroenterology, at the Royal Free Hospital for investigation. How in the name of God did not raise every single red flag in their head from planet Earth? You're not supposed to go to your GP and say, I'm going to see this guy specifically that another parent told me about. And then it happens. Usually there's a little bit more bit back and forth than that. And why are they, like, you tell them that you're coming to us. You tell them all the red flags. All of them. Literally all of them. Good God, I can see them behind my eyes. Just a march of red flags with a neon red line. Like going wee wee wee. It will be necessary for me to discuss the nature of the referral with your GP. I would be very grateful if you could let me have his or her name and telephone number. Also, could you please let me have your telephone number so that I can speak to you directly on the subject? Do you recall that there was indeed a telephone conversation between you and Dr. Wakefield? Answer, yes. What was your understanding of what they were doing? Answer: they were really trying to put a stop to the MMR vaccine being used and obviously to stop any damage that was being done to children. Jesus Christ. GP Child 6 and 7. Question: you say in your letter, Dr. Wakefield, following our discussion over the phone the other day, Child 6 is a little boy with autism syndrome who does also suffer from bowel disorder. His mother is interested in entering him into your trial, and I'd be grateful if you could see her for a discussion. As you already identified, there had apparently been discussion over the telephone. Can you help us at all as to who would have had initiated that telephone conversation? Answer: I really do not recall. I suspect I may have done. If she would have given me the number, I would have rung to find out more on her behalf, but I do not recall. And to repeat what Walker Smith wrote, my position as with measles, MMR, and Crohn's disease is that the link with MMR is so far unproven. Please put that in bold. All capitalized. It is clear that the legal involvement by nearly all the parents who will have an effect on the study as they have a vested interest. Remember, these parents were also contemplating lawsuits against the vaccine manufacturers, and then they got sent to Wakefield involved with that specific law firm. It's a setup. Set up. I myself will not appear in court on this issue. It is obvious that the parents either directly involved in the lawsuit or the anti-vaccination organization JABS were aware of Wakefield's research and that Wakefield was involved in their recruitment. So asking the parents their opinion on what they believe caused their child's autism was a foregone conclusion. In addition, Deere uncovered that several families had been given a longer time interval between receipt of MMR than reported in the article, which would have brought up the question of association of the vaccine and their subsequent diagnosis. He flubbed the dates, folks. Very obvious he flubbed the dates. And again, this blind trust, lie after lie after lie revealed, and still here we all are. God help us all. As an analogy, my hometown's professional football team is threatening to leave if a new stadium is not built. Imagine a public polling firm presenting findings that a survey of residents found 80% in support of a new stadium funded by tax monies. Upon finding out the survey only asked season ticket holders, what credibility would one give to the survey? For another excellent discussion of Justin Middett's findings and the anti-vaccine misuse of it, see Professor Dr. Rubenstein Rice's article refuting one of the tropes that Andrew Wakefield was wronged. Alright, and we're actually going to get into that probably after this. I told you Wakefield is kind of a minefield that never stops blowing up, but for right now, you can obviously see all the red flags. I can see all the red flags. But the parents, in spite of learning all that they have, continue to not see it. And this is the part of blind faith that I've never been able to wrap my brain around. I really haven't. Yes, I have faith in God, and I have my reasons. I have seen my proof. The blind leading the blind will lead us all straight off into the abyss, folks. You can't have blind faith in anyone. Train into yourself to fact check everything. Because otherwise, these folks, and let me tell you, I've talked to these parents, they're intelligent, they're very well educated. It doesn't matter how many degrees or how intelligent or practical or logical you are in every way, shape, or form of life. If you are vulnerable, you may be susceptible to someone like Wakefield, and once they get you on that hook, it is one of the hardest jobs in the world to bring people back to sanity. If you don't believe me, go to YouTube, check out all the news videos right now. Now, on that note, we're going to go ahead and close out for this one, folks. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few we do tend to get removed from time to time, so please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe. Please don't forget to hit comments, and make sure that you are still set up to receive notifications. We're going to be continuing on with the Down the Rabbit Hole series, and tomorrow we are going to do our very first episode of the Snake Oil Salesman series that I've been telling you all about, and I don't want you to miss anything. I appreciate your time, and as always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea absolutely do hope you have a good one. I'll see you all later. Bye-bye, everyone.